Hello, everybody. Welcome to Secret Spaces yet again, November 22nd edition. Give us a second. We're getting our special guests on here from the PAX team. Please help us share the link around to your communities. Grab this Twitter Space link, put it in your favorite Telegram group, your favorite Discord group, anybody you know who cares about DAOs, because that is the topic of today. Also, if you guys would like us to look into adding some really cool lo-fi waiting room music in the future, throw an emoji out there. Let us see it. We can certainly look into just having some cool background music for you. I've been experiencing this more and more lately. I think even Coinbase had some cool background music when I joined their space over the last couple of days. It was pretty dope. But mostly we know you guys are here to listen to the PAX team, not to just listen to the tunes. So Patrick is going to send some invites. He's going to get our announcements out, and we are going to kick off momentarily.
Hey guys, Joseph from PAX here.
Welcome to the space. Glad to have you on here with us. We're just going to kick off in a couple minutes while we let people discover the link. When Patrick tells us that the announcement is out, we'll get going. We have to tweet, we have to share, Telegram, Discord, anywhere. And of course, if Joseph, if you can share it with your communities, pull people in here. We're about to kick off, so just let them know that we're starting.
Should be good to go on our side.
Beautiful. All right, so it sounds like the announcement's gone out on Telegram and on Discord. Sounds like our tweet is out, reminding people to get in here. We do these every week. We always have awesome teams. So let's kick off this week with PAX. If people haven't heard about PAX, you're about to. So let's kick off. We'll also drop details, of course, about how to claim today's secret badge. We do free to mint NFTs every single time we do a Secret Spaces to celebrate our special guests who join us. This week is no exception. So if you look in the pinned tweet here, there'll be a link to get your very special secret badge. Before I give you that claim code, though, let's go ahead and get an introduction from our guest of this week from the PAX team. I'll hand it over to you. Please tell us who you are. Don't need to go into the whole project right now, but we're very curious who you specifically are and what your involvement with the project is.
Yeah, so I'm co-founder of PAX, also an LNS, Lunar Name Service on Terra, and also SCRT Labs, which is an initiative, a community of builders in Web3, pretty much. And myself, I'm a designer by trade. I'm in the industry for 12 years. I mean, like in design industry. And in crypto specifically, like full-time since 2021. I started following since 2017, but yeah, that's pretty much me. And I'm based in Central Europe, in Prague. So yeah.
Awesome. We have a very rapidly growing European community. We know we have a lot of secret agents that are active in Europe.
Yeah.
We have some in Berlin right now, I know, who are doing some NFT workshops as well, which is super cool.
Yeah, there were some. I think maybe a week or two. I think 2 weeks before there was some conference or hackathon where you have also some people from Secret. So yeah, definitely the community is growing over here.
Awesome. Well, agents are everywhere, and now more than ever, of course, it's important to have something worth building in the crypto space. If you weren't in it for the tech before, we certainly all are now.
Yeah.
But sure. Actually, DAOs are incredible tech, and actually one of the most interesting things I think that you can build with decentralized technologies, these new forms of human organization. We're learning some things, we're relearning some things as we experiment with DAOs. But ultimately, I do think that we haven't even begun to scratch the surface with experimentation with DAOs. We haven't had the right platforms, we haven't had the right foundations to be able to try a lot of the systems that might actually lay the foundation for DAOs to take over the world. But before we get there, I have like 100 questions for you. But let's start at least with dropping the badge claim code. People are probably already curious. Go ahead and click through to today's Secret Spaces tweet. We've pinned it here. It's got a link to today's secret badge. We encourage you to collect all of these. There will be rewards, of course, for those who are the best collectors. Today's secret badge claim code, though, you will need if you want to claim it. It's free to mint, but you do need the claim code. And the claim code today, no surprise, is DAO. DAO. Cool. So hopefully everybody is going to get in on that. We've got a lot of people collecting badges right now. In fact, I was told yesterday we've passed 100 1,000 total secret badge claims, which is super exciting. Sometimes it's hard to get people to actually use products in Web3, but secret badges seem to be something that people actually really enjoy using, experimenting with. So we expect to see a lot more of them get created in the very near future. For right now, of course, today's secret badge is to honor the PAX team. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it straight over to you. So now let's get into PAX itself. What is PAX, first of all? And then I want to get into the background, but what even is it?
PAX is pretty much it's a DAO platform that enables Web3 teams to easily, organize digital assets and make decisions together. So this is how we present ourselves. So, but yeah, in general, it's like super easy way to create a DAO, and raise proposals, and together, to like take care about the treasury and all those stuff. So pretty much like decide together on what to do with all of your assets as a group. Yeah.
Very cool. I've seen a lot of DAOs. I've been part of a couple DAOs. Some of them are more official than others. I mean, when I think of a DAO, I mostly just think of a community and a community of stakeholders. But it sounds like with PAX, it's pretty formalized. There's a lot that people can be doing and jointly owning, controlling, deciding, exploring, which is really exciting, as opposed to you show up in a Discord, 5 people are there, and you're like, well, I guess we're a DAO now. Is that fair to say? You help people actually create useful DAOs and powerful DAOs?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and then also like take away the all the technical issues with that. So it should be like super straightforward, super easy to create one, and then and also and like create on-chain activity in there. So yeah.
Great. Yeah, people would rather think, of course, about their community or the things they're trying to achieve than spend a lot of time trying to customize how they get that done, or do decision making. So
Yeah.
it sounds like it's super useful. So let's get into the background then. How did PAX start? How did the whole project come about?
Yeah, it was I think it was mid 2021, and I joined forces with my co-founder Thomas, who's a developer. I'm a designer, so we kind of like we tried few different tools on Ethereum regarding DAOs, and yeah, like we decided to build on Terra because before the Terra was thriving, like it was really rapidly growing back then, and like there was also interesting NFT community back then on Terra, and we started talking to those people. We didn't know like we want to build a DAO, but like DAO tooling back then. But like we also work with one 3D designer that is our friend, and we wanted to build create an NFT collection. So we had some insight into that, and like we started talking to those communities, and identified that they were quite underserved in terms of like DAO tooling. All of those like people, they were using some they needed to hire a developer to like spin off their DAO and so on and so forth. So we started thinking to help them at first, like to actually focus on that, on NFT communities, and how might we started thinking how might we actually build something that is super easy, that like puts away that effort to hire a dev to create a DAO, and what are their needs actually. So we were close to launching that, but then the crash happened on May, so we had to kind of like rethink everything, and like NFT communities went bit to like that there wasn't like such a like activity in terms of like NFTs and so on and so on and so forth. So we kind of like decided to go back to basics and just started from the very foundational stuff, pretty much what we have right now, which is like you can simply create your create a multisig, be it a fixed one or a flexible one, and and kind of like operate as a group of people and decide together on some proposals on treasury and so on. So that's the story. That's where we are right now. Yeah, we have a lot of plans. Nice vision for the future after all those crashes. But yeah, that's pretty much like the story. How we actually came about building this.
That's awesome. I mean, clearly things have evolved a lot, right? Clearly, more and more we see people focusing on communities that have nothing to do with profile pictures, but everything to do
Yeah,
with shared missions, or like there's DAOs for women in blockchain, DAOs for certain countries.
yeah,
Obviously, what I would love to see more of is privacy DAOs, but fortunately, we
yeah,
do have something like secret agents, which is really exciting, forming this kind of global DAO for not just doing educational work around privacy, but like really taking control of the entire secret ecosystem
mhm,
and pushing hard on global adoption of privacy first tech. Really awesome to see. Obviously, what they need is incredible platforms that help them organize, help them communicate, make decisions, manage capital, all the things that people have to do.
yeah,
But in a way that's very permissionless, where anybody can become an agent, anybody can expand their involvement, step into roles of leadership. It's a super exciting space, I think, that the Web3 space is really leading on. And less we're seeing it has to do with speculation. More and more it has to do with utility and achieving things for the ecosystem. And naturally, I think it makes sense that platforms like PAX would come to exist right around when everybody's deciding
yeah,
maybe we should get stuff done instead of just gamble.
yeah, exactly. Like also going back to a bit of like our story, like how because actually Secret was we started on Terra, but like Secret was always what we considered including because we also feel like, for example, another use case that we were thinking about is very interesting, like content creators. For example, everybody who, be it like a NFT artist or any kind of artist or anybody who has something to share. We thought it like, okay, those people are also like there might be some interesting use case for them as well on Web3 because it's just like their content is not owned, like not centralized, what they put up on online and so on and so forth. So we also thought it like it would be awesome to include like privacy in DAOs in that sense, because if you, for example, decide to share content only with your NFT holders, like with the holders of your NFT that you like created, I think it doesn't make sense to, if you want to share some special content with them, it doesn't make sense to have it like open, right? It makes sense to have it private because it creates like this like kind of like this a value pretty much, because if something is not everybody can dig it up and it's private, it's just cool. So there are different definitely some other use cases as well, but that's yeah, we were excited about this regarding secret and DAOs. So yeah, just wanted to mention it.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll get more into the marriage of DAOs and privacy and all this different stuff in just a moment. But let's start with where it looks like today. So currently you have an implementation
Yeah,
on Terra. I want to learn more about like what can people already do today? What are people already experimenting with?
yeah, they can create as I mentioned already, like they can create a fixed or flexible multisig. So it's like a DAO of a group of people that you like, for example, so that you can imagine like you go to on a platform, you name it, you put up some details, like fill out some details about the setup, and then add different wallets, and for example of 10 people, and then create a DAO. Like fixed one means that you cannot change any details afterwards. It has some use cases, and flexible one means that you can afterwards you can remove a member or add more people to it or change some settings like threshold or things like that. So that's working. So you can create that kind of multisigs, and then you can raise proposals and decide what to do with treasury and so on and so forth. We have some cool feature which is not implemented yet, but it's almost there. It's a wallet connect feature, which means that like you'll be able to um, you know um, do transactions as a DAO. So, for example, if you wanted to buy something from NFT marketplace, you can go there, and through our wallet integration, you can act as a DAO, not as an individual. So you create this multi-sig DAO, and then you can act as an entity, not as a standalone user. So, but that's not live, unfortunately, just yet. But it's close to be released. So, but yeah, I wanted to mention it because it's quite important. Yeah, so that's pretty much what we have right now.
Are there features? I was going to say maybe you've already covered them, but are there features that people have been like really demanding that you've seen where it's like now you're prioritizing them because users are saying we really want to do this, we really want to do that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like in terms of treasury, the people want like different kinds of assets. People want different kinds of protocol. I mean, like different kinds of integrations in terms of like those vaults. Like you can have a vault and for example, with tied to like liquid staking or like something else. So you can have different kinds of vaults where you can put your assets in, and you don't have to go to that protocols. Like you can have everything like kind of wrapped around or wrapped in packs. So this is requested a lot. So integrations for sure, and some other I think integrations are most requested thing, and also this wallet connect thing. That's why we're building it as well, because it was quite requested to be able to act as an entity, not as an individual.
Right on. Okay, cool. So then let's get back to what we were just saying, right? Like, so we talk a lot about privacy on Secret, and obviously we get a lot of questions about privacy since we were some of the first people to be trying to build these solutions for the broader space. And one of the most common things I kind of have to remind people about the way that we do privacy is it's not about keeping absolutely everything in the dark all the time, putting everything inside of a black box. That's not what privacy is about. What privacy is about is the ability to say, this should be public to everyone. This should be private just to me. This is something my 3 best friends should know. This is something that my family only should know. This is something that only my accountant should know. You get to have this, what we call like selective revealing of your information or of any important information. And the way that the Web3 space has worked to this point is to make everything radically transparent, everything viewable by everyone. And I absolutely am going to sit here and be the first person to say there's a lot of things that should be public to everyone, because we talk about accountability and transparency in the blockchain space, auditability. These are all really important. But the solution is not make absolutely everything public if you're talking about building complicated applications. And I count DAOs, of course, as complicated applications. They're complicated social structures and complicated foundational platforms and technology. So when we talk about privacy for DAOs, we're not talking about let's hide this DAO from the world. Let's make sure there's no transparency for the DAO, nothing shared between people. All we're really talking about is control for the members of the DAO, control to share something with other members or to share something with the outside world. It's about control, it's about consent, and it makes DAOs powerful in a way that without privacy, I'm not really sure that they're powerful. Maybe they are accountable, but most, if not all, human organizational systems require some degree of some kind of privacy and control in sharing information. There's nothing that works differently. Anytime radical transparency has been tried as a model in human history, it has led to worse outcomes or it hasn't worked at all. So I obviously am biased. I obviously believe something like programmable privacy on Secret is essential to the adoption of any application. But let's specifically talk about DAOs. What is the thing that you might be most excited to build on Secret with PAX in order to supercharge DAOs?
I think first thing that comes to mind is definitely voting. So as you mentioned, like I think voting is essential to DAOs, right? And on one hand, it makes sense to at times, like it makes sense to have voting, completely transparent. But in many cases, it makes sense to just be able to pick if you want to vote privately, or it's by default private, because it's also in a real world use case, right? Like all the um, like how like governments and so on. For like, I think it makes sense to do it, because people want the want transparency on one hand, but also privacy on the other. So I think, like, for us, and what we want to do, it's like the first thing pretty much with PAX, is to enable people to like integrate secret into voting experience. This is like one of the first use cases, and then the other use case is that you, as a owner of the DAO, or like someone who is setting it up, you're able to say like what parts of the DAO will be revealed to what kinds of users, or what the holders of the token, or what the holders of the NFT, or what members will see that, or this or that. So this is another important part. So I think these two parts: voting and ability to like say like what's visible to whom.
Awesome. So if you're listening to this and you're wondering about how and when you're going to be able to experiment with this own stuff for your own DAO, clearly there's a lot of things that privacy for DAOs is essential for. Hopefully, this is getting you excited about this potential. And obviously, we want all of this to be available as soon as possible. So let's talk about the roadmap for PAX. What does it look like in the short term? What does it look like in the long term? What does that have to do with Secret and all of the secret agents who are excited to start experimenting with DAOs, forming sub DAOs? Let's say I envision a world, right, where the secret agents are off. They have a sub DAO that's just for people who are super passionate about university education. So we have a sub DAO on PAX or some other DAO platform dedicated to that. I mean, they could probably want to do it tomorrow, but tomorrow's not realistic. So let's talk about the roadmap, short term, long term. What's that looking like, and when can people on Secret start getting involved with it?
Yeah, so I think as the first thing we want to do, like this kind of like a layer, or a functionality where you can like create a multisig, like as we have right now. But you can, if you define like some people, and you something super simple, like as I'll share, as I shared with you before, like if you connect with a wallet that is like dedicated to that DAO, then like if you connect with another wallet, of course you're unable to enter it, but also you won't be able to see it on chain. Like you won't be able to. It's private. So this is like the first thing, first milestone, and then we want to go, of course, deeper, and like um, you know enable people to decide, like when you already have this private DAO, or you decide like it can be private, it can be like open, but then within that, like let's say open DAO, you are able to kind of like structure it in a way that like, okay, those people will be able to see this and will be able to do that, and those people will be able to see those kind of proposals and so on. So yeah, I think this is like the first step we want to take. Also, we already have the POC for that. Like it's pretty much, yeah, not like production ready, but like it works. It's like yeah, it's exciting. Like so yeah, that's the first milestone, I would say. And then what we want to do, we want to like work on the voting experience. So let's say you create a like open DAO, on, for example, on TerraChain, but or elsewhere in Cosmos, but you create a proposal or something, and you as a voter, you will be able to decide how you want to vote, and you will have an option when you hit vote. You will be able to pick like, I want to vote privately, through Secret, and it will be like it'll be there. So this is like the second thing, and then the third thing I think that is very important in our roadmap is creating Secret as a kind of like, we call it like secret as a service kind of thing. So pretty much like what we are building, we want to document it, and kind of like enable other people to integrate what we're gonna build into their use cases. So kind of like, yeah, kind of like yeah, help 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 people, um, make the use of what we are building as well. So I think these three things are the top of mind regarding milestones.
Great. So then let me ask you a kind of a more ambitious question. In a few years, I know crypto, like even just the last 2 weeks, felt like a decade. But let's think out a little bit further anyway. Let's pretend like we know what's going to happen in a few years' time, 3 years from now, right? The year is 2025.
Mhm.
What do you think DAOs look like? What are DAOs doing in the real world? What are they doing online? What are your predictions for the future of DAOs? And then maybe what do you think that has to do with the future of PAX on that time scale?
I think we have a vision of like, because DAO, like on-chain governance, in our opinion, there can be like different use cases, right? But for example, for Web3 teams, if I talk about Web3 teams, for example, they might use it for like on-chain kind of governance, and or voting is used like it's part of the decision making. And we, for example, for Web3 teams, we have a vision that this should be like you should be able to form a community, like discuss it on a forum. So PAX, like in the future, PAX could be like where you enter it, you put up a discussion with your community, you discuss it, you have a great experience on forum, and then if you are happy with the outcome of a discussion, then you within the PAX, you can create a proposal um, with the community that you pick, and of and they can vote, and they can decide if it's private or not, and so on and so forth. And also, if you for example want to share the content with them, some specific content, you can also decide like if who is gonna see it, like what kind of token holders, what kind of NFT holders. So it should be like, I think it's like yeah, this what we are building right now, we feel like it's just a piece of a puzzle of the whole like decision making experience, if you will, or this, or not the decision making experience, because that was pretty much like a, a way to decide in a better way. I believe so. Yeah, so it should be like just a piece of a puzzle that comes to the whole kind of like a that will form like a whole kind of experience around it. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm too too broad, but that's what we are thinking about.
Look, it's not up to us to decide what the future is exactly going to look like. We kind of make predictions, we kind of see inevitable trends, but one of these inevitable trends, I think you and I both agree, is that people love to organize with other people. They love being social, they love exploring, they love to have identities with groups, and that's what DAOs are. They're just a new kind of way to organize, new kind of way to connect with other people and share these experiences. So that's inevitable, it seems to me. But inevitably, they're also going to want to be able to do more and share more. And the platforms that have the best vision for how they're going to provide that kind of flexibility and that kind of power to their users are the ones that are going to win. And I think
Yeah,
with PAX entering the secret ecosystem, it's clear that you think about things the same way, and you believe that there's something about secret that's going to be offering this power to any user who chooses to create a DAO on the platform.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Cool. We're about halfway through. I just want to reset for a second. We're talking with the PAX team here about DAOs, about their path to launching on Terra, what's happening next on Secret. We also have a secret badge for today, as we always do for Secret Spaces. We have a pinned tweet here. Check it out. If you're looking at this Twitter space, you'll see there's a pinned tweet that Patrick pinned. It'll have a link. Go claim your secret badge. It's free to mint. It honors the team that's joining us today from PAX. You just need the claim code in order to claim it. I'm about to share that claim code one more time. The claim code is DAO, DAO. With that claim code, you will be able to mint this badge. You can show off that you were here supporting the PAX team. It's really awesome that you guys continue to show up week after week and support these awesome teams, and they obviously really appreciate it as well. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that there's something inside the private metadata today for the PAX team. If somebody claims this badge, they're going to be able to decrypt it, and they're going to see something inside the private properties. Do you want to tell people what it is, or should we let them figure it out for themselves?
Yeah, it's a pretty much like POC. I can tell them, but it's a POC of. I mean, like I can a high level. They will see themselves because it's a video, but yeah, it's pretty much like a POC of a of implementation of secret in packs. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah,
That's
but
serious.
yeah, but it's super simple. But yeah, yeah, we already like, of course, we explored it, and yeah, we are ready to push it out. So
Cool. Well, obviously people want to see that, but I will remind them, of course, that unless you claim today's badge, you can't decrypt the private metadata. You can't see it. We've already had about 100 people come in and try to claim it. Usually we get to a few hundreds of claims on these from people who are supporting spaces. So with that claim code, you'll be able to claim it, decrypt the private metadata, and you will see a special first look at what PAX is trying to bring to the secret ecosystem, which we're all really excited about. We're about halfway through. As I said, I've got maybe one or two more questions for you myself, but this is also around the time where we let people come up on stage, ask their questions to you, ask questions about DAOs in general, ask questions about secret. So please start raising your hands if you'd like to be up here talking with me, talking with the PAX team. Please stick your hand up. We would love to feature you up here for your questions, for your comments, anything else. So I do have one hand up here. Gus, I'm going to bring you on stage, but I've got one more question in advance of that, which is to say, so if people want to keep following along with your guys' development, I'm sure that you've got Twitters to follow, Discords to join or something. Can you just tell us where we can keep track of what you're up to?
yeah, at the moment we have only Twitter, but we are working on our opening our Discord in the near future. But they can definitely please follow us on PAX_space. Yeah, so you can follow. We'll be posting a lot more updates like in the near future in the coming weeks. So yeah, it'd be awesome to if you can follow us there.
Cool. Well, with that said, I'll let Gus remark as well. So Gus, I brought you up here because you probably have a question.
Yeah, I was in mid-80 I was handing out my card like confetti, and people took me up on the offer, and so I'm working pro bono for some governance councils that are out there in the cosmos. I can't name them, but it's a mess. The governance councils are a total mess. It's the members are. It's like separating a playground fight at an elementary school. So the DAO voting, as far as salaries and positions, it couldn't come at a better time for PAX because I've been telling these guys you have to develop a system where you can vote anonymously and there's no nepotism. People can show their real feelings through voting, and so that's one thing. And also the multi-sig is very interesting. And also with a lot of the members of these governance councils, they have a lot of ex parte communications being between themselves, which shouldn't happen. I take a dim view on that kind of stuff. And the last thing is I like the idea of secret as a service. That's a really cool term. But that's all I want to say. It's couldn't come at a better time because governance councils are going through a lot of problems, from my experience.
Yeah, thanks. Happy to hear that you like the vision. Yeah, for sure. I think we also see like definitely some problem. I mean, somebody you name them. So we will try to bring something that will ease those problems a bit, if you will.
I wonder to what extent, this is an open question for all of us, to what extent does privacy matter for helping ease some of these pressures? I mean, I've seen people say, obviously, we're building political systems. Crypto is inherently political. The act of building it, the act of using it. So it's kind of impossible to separate out the politics. But our politics have evolved over time. Our systems, our legal systems, our legislative systems all over the world have evolved over time. They're supposed to be evolutionary. And to this point, DAOs have been at the same time sort of unofficial structures, but also very rigid structures. There's just not been a lot of flexibility to how they can be built or how they can be managed. Do we think that if we already had privacy built into the foundation of these DAOs, if we had that additional flexibility and programmability, if that would help with some of the social issues that we're already seeing with DAOs and their management? Or is it just that these are people and people are inherently complex and technology can only go so far?
Yeah, it's a very philosophical question, but I think at the same time it's a great question, but yeah, it's hard to answer. I think like it's kind of like both. I would say. Um, yeah, people are complicated, right? And it's hard to build the system that works for everyone and like is pretty much bulletproof, I would say. But at least we can. I think all those things about privacy and can like help the or like help to solve a lot of issues regarding voting and all of those things. Um, so I think like flexibility is like I think the right term. If we build it in a way that like it's very flexible and people can do it like how they want to do it. I mean, set it up in a way that like it's private or what they want to show and pretty much what you mentioned in the beginning. I think that might be something that like that will move us a bit forward to finding something that is working more than the status quo, I'd say. But I don't have like solution like in my mind. But I think that could definitely help, at least from my perspective. But I think if we don't try, I think if we just need to try, right? We have to try a lot of things and I think we are still super early in terms of DAOs. But I think like one problem that we also see with DAOs is like that a lot of people don't care. Like from time to time, like it's finding the ways that it's way easier to vote, way easier to interact with all of those things, and or it's somehow more engaging in a way. I think that's also something that we're also thinking about, like how might we make this experience a bit more exciting, not that boring, like and so on. So just wanted to mention it.
Gus, what about your thoughts? I know you deal with people. Can technology make them better, or are people just people?
No, I was thinking during the when you said that, I was thinking that the project takes the human element out of it to some degree, which is really good. I like that. I like it a lot, and it makes it. It was something about also about the contracts and stuff like that, or I wrote some notes down, but yeah, the anonymous voting and it's just the ability for people to express what they really think. And people are jockeying in these governance styles. They're jockeying around for positions and salaries, and that's that. They haven't gotten anything done. It's amazing. And if they just had an anonymous system where they can just vote and give their real thoughts, things would get passed. Every little thing they do in a governance style, they should be voting on. It shouldn't be like I think this, I think that. Some of these calls are just painful, and so this would take the human element out of it, and I think it'd be very successful. That's just my thought.
Well, we'll see what happens over the coming weeks. Clearly, the cosmos is a place where we're not only experimenting on bleeding edge technology, but also, of course, bleeding edge organizational structures, social structures, on chain governance, off chain governance. It's all very complicated and messy and just incredibly exciting. So, we're really happy to have everybody here thinking through these questions with us, building products that will allow community members to think through these questions without needing to reconstruct all the core technology for themselves. That's the reason Secret exists, of course. We want people to be experimenting with privacy first applications without always having to reinvent privacy for their own products. We want people obviously to be able to build DAOs where they don't have to constantly rebuild the structure for the DAO. This is the emergence of platforms. Privacy as a platform, DAOs as a platform, built on privacy as a platform. Eventually, it all comes down to users, usability, and the people in these systems. And it's really cool to see, even with the bear market, that people are still really interested in exploring these systems, strengthening these systems, and building these organizations together. I'm really encouraged to see what they're going to accomplish as a result. We still got 15 minutes until the top of the hour. We're going to keep everybody on stage who's already here, but please feel free to join us up here on stage. Just raise your hand. We'll bring you up here as a speaker. We'd love to feature your questions, and we can also get into other ecosystem updates as well. But first, I'm going to bring up Red Eyed Bear. Do you have a question for the PAX team or just something you want to talk about?
Hey guys, thanks for giving me a chance to just ask a few questions. Thank you to the PAX Space team for coming on this space and talking about their upcoming product, which is DAO tooling. I basically have two questions, and they kind of come from like what I would like to see emerge out of DAO tooling. My first question is, what other attributes of governance tooling or the subsystems within those do you think will become more important in the future as we onboard more traditional businesses, Web 2 businesses into this space? And so my mind kind of goes to, the ability for traditional businesses to potentially be able to use DAO tooling to help improve their internal processes, to be able to see improved activity tracking for these systems, kind of the same way we're seeing a lot of the DeFi analytics starting to get better, to provide like a UI UX upgrade for the individuals that are interacting with these products. And then the other thing I would really love to see, and I haven't seen anyone tackle this problem in any sort of meaningful way, but how do we incentivize participation within these DAOs? Just as we know participation in network governance is incredibly important for both validators and delegators, I imagine it's going to be equally important for members of DAOs to be actually interacting with their governance systems. And one of the things I have been thinking about is, how do we incentivize this activity? I imagine it's going to be a very similar sort of governance participation from L1 governance to the governance within DAOs. So I was just curious, Joseph, how you think you guys or any other DAO tooling or groups building DAO tooling are going to be able to kind of try and solve some of these problems and or kind of build out the tooling for the future adoption that we're expecting. I know that was a lot I just said.
Yeah, to your first question, I think Web 2 adoption, definitely we are thinking about it, and how those people can elevate, or leverage DAOs as they are. The thing that comes to mind, for example, is there are already like some projects that are trying to solve this, and this is like connected to how easy it is to get into ecosystem, and how and we what we are like talking about like within our team is the wallet experiences. So as I mentioned before, like at the moment, like DAOs is a bit not boring, but you have it like scattered all around, and and like those vaulters are not like willing to participate. So but if we might somehow create an experience in terms of UI UX that is way more straightforward, way like easier to access, like it also like for participation you would like be able to accumulate some tokens, or I don't know, something like a reward system or like bounty system for voting. Like I think that would be nice, and it all connects to, at least to me, like to the wallet experience in a way, and it also like it pretty much answered both of your questions, uh, adoption and also like how to make it like way smoother for people to vote and participate. So that's also what we are talking a lot within our team. Um, that yeah, it's that's what's on my mind. Like if you mentioned those questions, and maybe that's like if we create a platform, like for example PEX, with nice features and so on and so forth, that's still someone will need to set it up, right? Like some sort of admin, and they do it, and but then like people that are just voting, not just voting, but they are part of it, but they don't want to go into pegs and like different tools, but they want to have like super smooth experience. And then first things first, like for example, coming from Web 2, you have to be able to just set up your wallet within seconds, not like 5 steps as of now, like usually, which is like the usual process. And then like if you have your wallet up, then then, for example, notification comes, you see it in your wallet, like you have to vote, you get something for it. There's some intense incentives and so on and so forth. So yeah, definitely a lot of ideas on our minds, but of course not that easy to solve. But yeah, to me it connects to that experience really.
Yeah, I appreciate you answering those questions. That's awesome that you guys are already thinking ahead about what these about what DAOs and their tooling can offer in the future. And I'm a very big picture person, and so I don't mean to ask these questions to burden you or to take your attention away from what you guys are currently building, because I assume that building these systems is complex, and so trying to solve additional problems on top of it is complex. But the fact you guys are already aware of these things and are looking to improve upon existing solutions is really it makes me very positive about what the future of this tooling will look like, especially on Secret Network with the unique attributes that Secret provides to its applications and tools.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. I think it's pretty much like, yeah, what you asked is pretty much like what we are asking ourselves as well. Like, yeah, because if we solve that, and then we will drive the adoption from Web 2, and that's what we all want, right? Like we want people to use those tools and to engage, to yeah. So I think these are great questions and things to think about. So thanks for those.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Awesome. Anybody else who had a thought on something else we should have discussed but didn't, especially if it's DAO related? Or Joseph, if you have any questions for us about the secret ecosystem or just things that are on your mind, the stage is yours.
Yeah, nothing specific, I guess, on my mind at the moment, as it's evening and my brain is quite fried already. but yeah, I mean, like, we would appreciate the support. We would appreciate, like, if we could work with you guys. Anyone who's into DAOs and who would love to work with us to make what we are building better. I think we're always open to anyone and anyone's ideas, and so please, if you have anything pretty much that you want to share, please do it. We will really appreciate it. So yeah, just because I think so pretty much, yes, this is on top of my mind. Like, leveraging the secret community would be amazing for us to get another perspective, and to get another early adopters, or people that are interested in what we are building. So yeah.
Cool. Well, I have to say that this is a great time to show the secret agents. Secret agents, of course, all over the world, all loving to organize, get things done, experiment with bleeding edge technology. That's what they do. So if anybody listening is interested in becoming a secret agent, you can do that. Just go to scrt.network/agents. There's more about the program. They are all over the world. We'll help onboard you, connect you with people in all kinds of different working groups, from education to university working groups to live events to social awareness. Agents do it all, right? They literally are the lifeblood of the entire project, and they power all the apps on the network. But also, if you're already a secret agent, this is clearly an opportunity to get in touch with the PAX team, let them know which features you would like to see, become their beta testers. Hopefully you've claimed the secret badge and you've gotten to take that quick early look at their platform. So let's go ahead and make sure you guys connect. Make sure you follow PAX Space. We've got their @handle here on the Secret Spaces. Also follow Joseph, who's joining us on stage. Again, really appreciate all the time you're taking to join us today. We can all keep this conversation going in the secret Discord. Just go to chat.scrt.network. Join the crew there. All the agents hang out there. Lots of people from the project. We're all over the world, obviously. So for those of you who are in Europe, that's a good time zone for Joseph. But yeah, obviously you'll discover agents from anywhere when you join. We've got agents in every continent. I'm sure there's a few Antarctican secret agents, and I just haven't met them yet. We've had agents hold events. Like I said, they're hosting an event right now in Berlin. They've hosted events in Africa, in Nigeria. They've hosted events, I know, in the US and in Latin America and in Asia. And I'm hoping to learn that we are hosting one in Australia as well. So never a better time to become a secret agent and join the community and help us spread the word about Web3 privacy. And obviously, pretty soon you'll be able to be experimenting with DAO privacy as well, which is super cool. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. We'll wrap up a little bit early here, give everybody back some time in the day. We've heard a lot, so we'll obviously get this reposted to the YouTube. You'll be able to listen to this back here on Twitter. And of course, last time, go claim that secret badge. The link is in the pinned tweet. If you joined us late, click the pinned tweet. There's a link to today's secret badge. It is a free to mint private NFT with encrypted metadata. So if you claim it and you decrypt that private metadata, you will get a cool early first look at what the PAX team is trying to bring to Secret. So go ahead, claim the badge, check that out, show them your support by claiming the badge. They will be super happy to know that you can prove that you were here supporting them today. But of course, it's a private NFT. So if you just want to keep it to yourself, that is your right to do so. Thank you for taking the time to join us, guys. We'll chat with you on the next Secret Spaces. Cheers, guys.